Hey guys, let's get into a creative flow, break through perfectionism, quiet the mental static, all the criticism that's going on there, and do a very quick 10-minute prompt reset writing sprint. I'm Victoria,
I'm Ivan.
and this is struggle is real. And the struggle is definitely real for every human being on this world. If you're trying to finish the project or if you're stuck on some kind of creative or non-creative assignment, and you can be stuck anywhere and with any kind of task. That is why we're thinking this exercise can help, because it's focusing on one specific target, and it works like basically the mantra meditation. When your mental static is distracting you, we're trying to come back to the specific question that we are working on today. And with that said, Ivan, tell us what will be the question for today that we'll be writing on.
Sure. Well, I am about to finish a big project I've been working on for a couple years. So I thought about the question, when do you know something is finished?
Oh, that's a great question, especially when it comes to the art and you're a musician. So we are looking forward to knowing more about your project, but let's do the quick exercise first, because you never know what comes up after this writing, right? Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna put a timer on. This is our prompt. We have 10 minutes, and let's go.
How are we on time?
4 minutes and 47 seconds left. I hope others can see the time. And the time is up. Welcome back, Ivan. So, you don't have to tell us what you wrote about, unless you would like to. So, what is your project that you're working on? First of all, tell us that in life.
In life.
In real, not here, in real life.
Okay. My life project. Um, no, I'm working. I'm almost finished with a record album, um, which is not the first that I've made in my life, but it feels like a really was a lot of work, and I think I started thinking about the project like 2 years ago, maybe more. So it's a long time for me to be working on something very consistently, and it's gone through a lot of changes and transformations in that time. And I'm pretty happy with where it is right now, which is also not a given. So,
Well, congratulations, first of all. Congratulations on finishing the second one, and also for consistently working on it and changing it and not giving up on it, right? It's a big deal. It's a big deal for artists and also regular, normal human beings. Artists are normal human beings too, to finish a project, to actually be able to say, okay, I'm done. So, your question was, how do you know when you're finished?
yeah, I think there's like a lot of different wisdom on that you can take. You hear people say that um, a a poem or and I a lot of poetry went into the record is never finished, it's only abandoned,
Mm-hmm.
this kind of idea. um, and then at the same time, when you talked about perfectionism, there is like a sense where you have to say to yourself, don't let it being good or great be in the way of it being good enough,
Mm-hmm.
and doing what it works to do. And I think also, like, I was talking to my sister earlier. There is also something zen about being able to say, like, this is exactly the way that it's supposed to be,
Mm-hmm.
and sort of not having the ego to get in the way of that.
So, do you write the poetry? Did you write the poetry for your record
Yes.
and the music as well?
Yeah.
So it's a
Yeah.
solo album.
Yes.
Oh, this is
Yeah.
awesome. So, okay, poetry. I love poetry, and I know you also.
I've heard some of your poems.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I haven't heard yours, so we need to exchange after this. I'm curious, and I can't wait for it to come out. We have to celebrate. We have to celebrate
Nice.
here, yeah.
That's very
And then
sweet.
you can play for us. Actually, that would be great. Well, we're making plans for the future. So anyway, poetry is like music, right? I mean, the what is it, prosody? I keep saying this,
Nice.
prosody, and you know the music theory. You studied the music theory. So what is poetry to you? So how do you write it? Do you get like inspirational muses? I love the muses that just
Mm.
come into your psyche, or like what is the process for you for the poetry from start to finish? Just curious.
Yeah, well, that's basically what I wrote about during the
Uh-huh.
exercise. And it's, I've sort of done stuff like this in the past, but this was the first time really when I had a story in my head that I was sort of trying to not like explicitly tell with the poem,
Mm-hmm.
but just give like little glimpses at, the whole time, which was a different way of working. And I think that it kind of let me um, write things a touch more abstractly,
Mm-hmm.
which I really enjoy. I like poetry that's kind of out there, and lyrics that do that too. And there's a couple lyricists who I was inspired by that way. But it was strange because it started with this story, and then it sort of shifted to being about these specific places and what happened. Like I have this big moment in the record that's kind of about like being on a beach in California, and then the world starts to end.
Oh, that's great. Did it end?
Yeah, well, it's kind of, I mean, it's sort of, it's, but if you heard the music, you would understand. It's like, oh, this is like, something sort of beautiful and detrimental that's happening at the same time. So it kind of, there's a big thing of like people who write the lyrics first and then figure out how to put it to the music.
Hmm.
But I always write the music first, and then I come up with the rhythm for the poetry. And it is almost like writing iambic pentameter or something like that,
Hmm.
when you like need to find the right rhythm and stuff like that. And I really enjoy that. I enjoy the sort of like constraint of that, um, which is sort of strange maybe, but
Nothing is strange in art and music. I think this is why I love this. There's no boundaries in creativity. Like you can express yourself in so many ways, and when you're true to yourself, it comes out, and you connect with others there, because there are other like-minded people
mm,
who are able to hear you and see you, right? And there are others
mm,
who will never see or hear no matter what you say. So
sure.
we don't worry about them. So for the 2 years, it's a long time in my life, in my understanding of time. 2 years, it's a long time to commit to something.
Yeah.
And so, have you had any difficulties? Have you had any self doubts? All these things that mind can, mind games that your mind can play with you.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, and maybe you can share to anyone out there how you get out of the funk. What is your thing?
Yeah. Well, my thing is definitely, you know, I can't help but think about how an audience is going to receive it, and thinking about like even if it's something as simple like it's a like I should write a happy song instead of a sad song because people want to feel happy, they don't want to feel sad, right? Which is like sort of, you know, pedantic to your audience or whatever. But I mean, the other thing that it just made me think about your question was, just the journey of it. And the record, I wanted to have a feeling of like a grand narrative happening, which, like I said, I don't explicitly say that necessarily, but I do have a lot of things like being on a boat or being in a car or something. But
Mm-hmm.
but the point being that I wanted it to feel like when you're at the point in a journey where you say to yourself, "Wow, everything I've been through culminated in this moment." That came to be. That I had no idea that it would occur. Which is very much what the process was like. And there were a lot of questions that still don't have answers. And there's a lot of questions I have about the story itself that you know sort of are like dreams, where you like can't really pull the threads together.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of the beauty of it. It's sort of like they say, like a great jazz musician is, it's not necessarily that they resolve everything, but that they can hold a lack of resolution. They know how to sit with a lack of resolution. So
Yeah, like imperfection, right? At some point, you have to like.
yes,
Um, quick interjection. I like to write poetry. I like to paint. And years ago, I remember 10 years ago or something, I painted a painting, and I was looking at it. I'm like, I can make this better. So I painted over it, and I made it worse. So I'm
mm,
like, but of course I do it in poetry. Like, oh my God, I still cannot let it go. It's been
yeah,
a
yeah,
decade. It's not even like I'm a big painter. It's nothing. Um, anyway, so have you had this kind of moment during this process when you wanted to give up? You're like, this is not gonna be anything, and I can't go on with this. Just curious if you had that kind of dramatic moment, or maybe micro dramatic moment.
I mean, I think like, you know my weakness in a way is that I'm just like so obsessive that like it was, I knew I was gonna, you know, get through it no matter what happened. But there were definitely, I mean, when you talk about the painting, like the thing for me is like I had this song that it's just like two verses again and again, and I probably wrote close to like 20 different possible verses, you know, for this one little thing, and just like writing myself crazy, like trying to figure this out, you know, and like this song could have been like 10 minutes long, but and in the end I just pick two verses, and but you know, it's the song that sets the stage for the whole record. So it kind of like I really needed to like, you know, let my brain like kind of, you know, ferment all
Mm-hmm.
this, you
Yeah.
know. Um, yeah. I mean, but that's tricky. You have you experienced that where you really just want to totally abandon ship?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Have you?
Yeah, I don't know if I could bear to. I mean, with this project, it's like because I came up with this character, you know, and she's, you know, she's an automaton who like wants to be an actress,
Mm-hmm.
but because she's a robot, she can't act, you know.
That's so sad. And then the world ends and
So
she dies.
yeah, well, no, she's trying to become human. This is
Uh-huh.
like so, you know, that's her heroic tale or whatever. But you know, I couldn't like abandon her.
Oh, that's
You
so
know.
sweet. Yeah, that's so wonderful and sweet. You have some compassion for your character. I never thought
Yeah.
about it like that. I always, I selfishly think about myself. I'm like,
No, you
I
have
mean,
to write a character that you like forced yourself to fall in love with.
okay.
You
I
know,
never, oh, this is interesting. I'll try. I'll try.
even if it is just kind of a reflection of you,
Yeah.
which happens too.
I don't know who else to write about. I've been thinking about it a lot, like my stories, my creative expression. Who else can I be certainly expressing about, right? I don't know what you think. Think in your head. I can see my impressions of you, right? How you outwardly express things, but inside, every human is so complex. Like I
Mm,
can never fathom what Ivan is thinking or what your perspective is.
yeah, it's so
Perception,
true.
yeah, perception. And I mean, perspective you can explain to me, right? This is your perspective, but how do we perceive? We might think
Mm.
that this lamp can be, I mean, I don't know, something you can describe it totally differently, or this can give you different emotions, right?
Well, do you also think, you know, I talked about Zen, but do you think about spiritual stuff in
Mm-hmm.
that way? You know, like, because a lot of people, like a lot of musicians I admire in particular, say, like, if you're not playing for some kind of spiritual purpose, then, you know, then you're not really playing practically.
Um, I'm not sure about the spiritual purpose, but I had maybe this moment last year when I started this. My whole life, I've been blocking myself because I would never be great. You know, like the
Mm.
abandonment that I'm asking everyone about is something that I want to answer my own question for myself selfishly. But somehow I've been connecting to more people through my selfishness, right? I'm talking to you about this. And
That's cool.
I understand that I'm trying to help myself through hoping to help another human being. And one thing about the spirituality, I can say that when I write poems, I was 8 years old when I first wrote my first poem. It was like, I
Mm.
will never forget that moment in time. You know what I mean? Like that knowing that I felt never left me. So yeah, this is a spiritual, but I've never really created anything. Like I've never had this uh, obsession. My friend and mentor told me, you know, you're so obsessive on negative thoughts. Maybe if you obsess about something positive, it will
Mm.
manifest. Like what you said, you obsessed positively and it got a result thanks
Yeah.
to that robot girl who probably dies at the end. I don't know. I just so if
That's
that's
awesome.
yeah, that's, you know, people talk about this, you know, It's energy, or it's a knowing, or the
Well, I think also that what it did was because I thought about, you know, like I wrote in the thing, like it's sort of like I was thinking about the Wizard of Oz a lot
Mhm.
as like a classic narrative, and going from place to place and meeting someone, but they're also like being something really specific about being in a you know in New York City or in California, you know. And so when I then went to write, I was really like I like had this photograph in my head of just like what it's like to be in a place like that. You know what I'm trying to say?
Mhm.
So I mean, it's sort of it's like when you write a poem. I have this fantasy that like, well, if you're in like this really elevated state of mind, like you can write whatever and it'll be like really profound
Mhm.
because you're just really. But there is something also to the fact that like when you're in, like you can't fake being in a certain frame of mind,
Yeah, that's for
when
sure.
you go to write.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with like you asked me if I know what you mean by this space. You mean New York has different energy. So when you're in New York, your writing will be different. Or what do you mind? What do you mean when like in your headspace, New York and another city? Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sort of goes specifically for me. Like, I thought about, I grew up in New York and I have kind of like this fantasy about New York that comes from when I was a little kid living there, you know. And
oh,
so when I went to write a song, writing about New York, it came to a lot of those images of being on the subway, and it's kind of hard to explain. It's kind of hard to explain, but it is just like it's like those sense memories,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. I think I know. And I wrote a poem the other day, and as I was a kid walking home from a dance class, and I will never forget those trees. And it was like right
Mm,
after the rain, the green. It was from like, I'm from the country of Georgia, so it was a small town.
mm,
So I felt that smell of the trees, right? Like I
right.
felt that little me. It was me. It was that little girl walking on the street.
Mm,
But that place doesn't exist anymore, right? That place, that time, it's
mm,
gone. Like
mm.
I can never go back. I can go back physically, but there's no more connection because it's completely different. I'm different. Is that what you mean approximately?
Yeah, yeah. And I think like, it isn't necessarily about the place, right? It's about that kind of longing that you hold with you,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. Well, this is a great way to maybe close this wonderful conversation.
Oh, so
Thank
soon.
you for being with us,
Yes, my
Ivan.
pleasure.
And we will see Ivan again in August with his band, Wayne and Wu, right? They're cool guys. There will be a surprise. And anyway, if you want to say something in closing, feel free to
Oh,
tell.
just thank you so much for having me.
Thank
Um,
you. Thank you for
yeah.
being with us. And I hope everyone enjoyed it and you heard something cool, because I think that today's conversation was very cool. And anyway,